You guys all read the script, right?
Lana, Ramon vouches for them. I vouch for him.
These three were my best friends.
Fuck those guys.
Everybody love everybody!
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Vouch for Me. I'm Eric, this is Abel.
Yep.
And this is Papa Nasty.
So
The only one going by an alias because his ass is going to get fired from work the moment they hear he has controversial Transformers opinions. We know what it is.
oh man, no comment. No comment.
He's gonna say Megan Fox was rightly fired for calling Michael Bay Hitler.
Rightly fired. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why they replaced her for the third movie.
You got this.
Oh my God, there's so much context. All right, well, we'll dig into it. But we are doing Transformers 2007, directed by Michael Bay. Yes, the absolute masterpiece. And I say this unironically because it genuinely was a feat. Let me tell you that. They brought our childhood fantasies to life.
And it was a feat, but not like Quentin Tarantino.
Well, I mean, can you imagine Quentin Tarantino making a Transformers movie?
I don't even know how they do feat shots at that point.
Well, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, and I will be providing you that script shortly. But this pick of the week was done by Abel. Abel, you have a long-standing relationship with Transformers. Do you want to give us a little insight on that and why you picked this movie?
So basically, ever since I was a young boy, I just been a huge fan of Transformers. You know, I bought the toys, watched the cartoons. I remember when this movie was coming out, I was all like, what? No way. They're not making a live-action Transformers movie. They don't even look like Transformers. And I see the little Autobot insignia in Bumblebee, and I was like, oh shit, this is really happening.
Sold.
Yeah.
Abel is the pipeline. He is the train to Transformer pipeline. Absolutely. Somehow train and dinosaurs to Transformers because they managed to get both of them in there.
Yeah, there's a really cool lore story right there with the Dinobots. I like the way they did it in the War for Cybertron games. It was hella sick. So the Autobots have these guys called Dinobots. They show up in the fourth movie, actually. They were just like some kick-ass Spec Ops team of Autobots that got captured by the Decepticon Shockwave, who is basically the Transformers equivalent of a mad scientist. And he was studying,
nice.
He studies alien planets, and he was studying Earth, which at the time was home of the dinosaurs. And so he was like, what if I just make these guys transform into animals instead of, you know, vehicles? And so he experimented on the Dinobots and made them transform into dinosaurs.
And the rest is fucking history. That's pretty wild. All right, as you can tell, Abel is deep into the lore. He's going to lead us through this movie today, and he is our lore master. Papa Nasty, you knew Transformers growing up. We all knew Transformers growing up. How was it for you?
I mean, I was a bandwagon fan. I got the poster. I was super into Megan Fox. You know, was a big fan of Shia LeBouf, you know, from Holes and some of his other films. But for the most part, I actually did my most... Yeah, I didn't really know too much about Transformers growing up. That was not my show.
Holes would actually be a cool movie to do at some point, actually.
I agree. Dude, the Patreon special would just be going and talking about Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, the Shia LaBeouf special, we'll talk about Holes, Disturbia, may touch on even Stevens.
Yes, there's plenty of... And then actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. That's how we're going to round that out. Absolutely beautiful.
What was that other one? Eagle Eye, the one where he's like being watched by like someone using like cameras and the satellites and shit.
Was that good?
Telling him to do shit. I never saw it. It looked interesting.
That's actually just what he thought was going on in real life, and someone was like, "Let's just make it let's just film him," and then he had grounds to be paranoid at that point.
I remember reading a story that he was just like struggling with his stardom at one point. Like he got kicked out of his own party because his own security guards didn't recognize him.
Wow. All right. Well, so we got the #1 champ himself. Apparently he fell from the grace of God, but you can tell how excited he was to be in these movies, like going back and looking at all the B footage and stuff surrounding the production. With Transformers growing up, personally, I had the toys. I saw enough of the show. It was definitely Armada at the time. It was just like the golden trio that you would watch in the afternoon. I know I would see Transformers. I would get a chance to catch Sonic X and probably like a glimpse of Yu-Gi-Oh or something. And that's all I needed. Dude, seriously, yeah, Transformer toys. And so when I finally saw this movie, it was probably thanks to Abel, because I showed up at Abel's house and Abel just had the DVD shelf with like just banger after banger. And you know, he's like, you got to watch Star Wars, you got to watch Transformers 2007. So that's why we're here.
So he banged you, and then you guys watched the movies?
He banged me on the shelf. And then we would watch the movies. We actually made movies that he added to the shelf, and he did an Optimus Prime impression the whole time.
No, we were banging, and I was watching the TV screen like Patrick Bateman watches himself in the mirror.
He's wearing the Optimus Prime helmet, like. That's awesome.
The Allspark.
Say it again before time began.
And then I was just a little Shia LeBouf. Wow! Oh my God! I just stutter all over.
Yeah, the stuttering and the. Sometimes he does in every film. I've noticed it. That's the thing about Shia LaBeouf. I'm like, come on, dude, change it up a bit.
It wasn't as bad in Holes.
Yeah, dude, go to speech therapy. What the fuck is wrong with you? Come on.
It was worse in the second movie, but I'd like to attribute that as just like PTSD from the first movie.
I wouldn't even say he needs speech therapy. It's more him just like it's like part of his acting method. Because he even does it in his one gangster film. What's it? The one where he plays a cholo. And he does brown face, but nobody talks about it. What the fuck's it called? Abes, did you?
I'm Googling it right now. Yeah, Abes, can you use your brain as a supercomputer?
My eyes just flip back like the guy in Dune.
Yes.
We are going to be digging into this movie, but first and foremost, we were just talking about things that stood out to us, because we saw this movie when we were a kid, but now watching it again as an adult, I see it's moments like this you notice now that you didn't notice when you were a little bit younger.
Yeah, like it was kind of just like a throwaway joke, but I love how later in the movie when Megan Fox's character Michaela was like talking about how she's into guys with muscles, and then Sam Shia LaBeouf tries flexing his arm by like, so I just installed that light in the back. I was like, I never realized that he was trying to flex his arm.
Yeah, I just installed that disco ball and that light over there.
It's like when you're at work and some cute girl comes over. It's like, can you tell me where the restroom is? Yeah, it's right over there.
That scene really reminded me of a young Eric back working at Starbucks with him, trying to impress all the MILFs back in the day.
Oh yeah, where's my Plymouth Acclaim? I remember one of my grand jokes I ever made was, I don't even know, I was inviting someone. I was like, hey, let's go drive out to the park or something. When I got off my shift, I was like, oh yeah, I drive a BMW. And we show up to my shitty ass car. It's like primered. It's such
a dirtbag.
And they're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just thought I was such a genius. And I'm like, ah.
That's the part where it's supposed to turn on the radio and be like, baby, come back.
Oh.
Yo, Papanassi, the movie you were looking for earlier was called Tax Collector with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And so the director denies that he's doing brown face. So he said that he just, he just looked like that.
He just looked a little Mexican. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Anyways.
What was the character's name in that film?
Hector.
Jose Rodrigo II.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that was fine.
It was funny,
Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa Ramirez.
Absolutely wonderful. Okay. All right, 2 out of 3 guys here are actually Mexican, so these jokes fly.
Yes. Well.
But Abel, I guess we could start taking it through. We can start taking it through, your favorite parts of the movie, starting from beginning to end.
Growing up, I remember I would watch on repeat the entire sequence of Blackout attacking the military base in Qatar. It was just so sick. Like the setup, like how he's just like creepily showing up under the identity of what was just a destroyed helicopter. Military thinks it's just some kind of false flag bullshit, and then he just transforms and starts going to town on everybody. Nothing can hurt him, and he just wipes out the entire base, save for just like a small Spec Ops team. That's really it.
Oh, I forget that's where the Spec Op teams come from. The movie opens showing you the military can't do shit.
Yeah, they don't know what to do against alien robots with force fields and armor and shit. Like, now that I think about it, I kind of wonder why they just like omitted that in later. He said he was looking at Blackout and Thermal, and he says like it's cloaked by some kind of invisible force field. I'm like, wait, so these fuckers have shields? Then what the hell's going on?
Yeah, that was like the one scene where they used it. After that, there was no force field in the fight scenes.
Yeah, then they started getting hurt by the heated rounds, but like, I don't know. It's whatever.
We don't look too deep into it. Yeah, that's what Papa Nasty was trying to tell me earlier. We had a brief conversation.
Like, sir, this is a Michael Bay film. You know, like, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
This is a movie based off of toys. I don't think we need to read too deep into it.
There's a reason why the Transformers wiki, whenever you ask a question, they just link you to a trope page called "to sell toys." Like, so why does this character have a power swap? Sell toys. So why did they kill off this character and introduce a new one? To sell toys. Why did they make a movie? To sell toys.
Look at Michael Bay.
True.
That old pervert.
So if we want to go into a quick deep dive of the production, so I think it's Mattel. No, it's Hasbro.
Hasbro.
Yeah, Mattel does Barbie, Hasbro does Transformers, G.I. Joe. They originally wanted to do a G.I. Joe movie, but then a war broke out. A very important war.
I believe that crossover is still on the table.
It's still on the table, that's for sure.
I could have sworn, spoiler alert, that it was alluded to in the new one, Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
Oh, there's going to be a G.I. Joe crossover?
Yeah. I just remembered that.
What?
Why the fuck not?
Okay.
Papa Nasty, you had something to say. I don't think you got a beer in your hand because you are not opinionated yet. What the fuck's going on? I'm on my second one. Don't fuck around there, bud.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay.
The shotgun.
I just started drinking.
Let me start drinking. All right. But let me go into this real quick. So originally they were going to do a G.I. Joe movie, early 2000s, but then the war broke out and they're like, hey, bad idea. Let's do Transformers. They got Michael Bay to agree to it when initially he was objecting to it. But I guess he looked into the source material, decided, hey, I think I will do this.
I can work with this type deal.
Dude, in reality, they probably showed him the paycheck and he was like, you know what? I think I could do this. I think the most interesting thing is too that they wanted to back off of military presence, but Michael Bay actually doubled down on it because as long as he would show the military in a positive light, they would basically freely let them use military equipment, including, AC-130, plenty of all of the equipment in the movie. They even had military personnel in the background.
F-22 Raptors and shit.
Yeah, playing extras. And I'm sure they cut the military in on, some money, but, at a very small margin. And so that was fascinating.
So yeah, I love the whole desert sequence, Blackout just going to town on everybody. And then I remember also I would replay the scene where Scorponok shows up and tries to finish them off later in that one village. And then we get like some epic orchestra from the composer, who is severely underrated, I feel. And then that hilarious scene where Captain Lennox is trying to contact the Pentagon and he's being blockaded by the freaking call center dude who's asking him for a credit card. And then in the middle of a firefight, he's asking, what's his name, Epps, for a credit card. And he's just screaming like, Epps, you got a credit card? Pocket? Which pocket? My back pocket. And then he cuts to him like searching and he's got like 10 legit, like just a bunch of pouches. And he's like, you got 10 back pockets.
Left cheek.
Yeah, no, that scene was so funny. I think for a little while after the movie came out, people would quote that scene.
So the composer you were looking for earlier was Steve Jablonsky. And it's because Hans Zimmer was actually his mentor and helped to compose the scores.
Oh.
Right, it all adds up. It makes sense why it was like... See, they did it. It's not that they didn't do anything right here. It's like this 2007 Transformers movie really did pave the way. And then, like, the further movies just went through with a fucking pickaxe and just destroyed what they paved.
Because Michael Bay doesn't care about continuity and all that shit. Because what they had to start off with was not a bad template.
No, it was great, yeah. And not only that, but they did have Steven Spielberg working with them as a producer. And so he had a pretty heavy influence on the script itself. He was the one that kind of came up with the A-plot of Shia LaBeouf finding Bumblebee. He wanted it to be about a boy in his car. And then Michael Bay's like, but I want the military. And so he made sure to have two significant military plot points going on alongside our boy, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, in the first act, you have three things going on. You have the Special Forces team on the run from Blackout's attack. Then you got the secondary military plot point where the Department of Defense hires all these young analysts to try and decrypt Blackout's signal. and then try and figure out what the hell attacked their base, because as of that point they have no idea what the hell's going on. And then you have like the third plot going on, which is just Sam Witwicky going to buy his first car, and it's a giant robot.
Spoilers.
He's pretty much the source of a majority of the movie's comedy. Dude is legit hilarious.
What's fantastic about the way they did the movie is I feel like it brings together the original fans of Transformers, like, you know, the men from the 80s who at that time were, what, 20 years older than when they were children playing with those toys?
They probably would have been 30 by then.
30, yeah. And then the new wave of Transformers fans. And both of those waves of Transformers fans could agree on one thing, and that was they just loved the way Megan Fox looked in a crop top.
Yeah, her pretending to be, what, 16, 17 was, that was probably the wildest thing out of the film. Compared to all the CGI and the fight scenes. That was like, no, she's not.
Well, that's like the funny trend of Hollywood in general, but in the 2000s it was more apparent because of just fashion and all that stuff. But they've always had like 20-year-olds playing high schoolers in movies.
No, but she looked definitely, I think she was like, well, you said she was 19, 20 in the film. She definitely looked like she was way older than that, like 24, 25.
Yeah, and then you look at her boyfriend Trent. That dude definitely looks like a frat bro, not a freaking college football player, or like a high school football player.
Yeah, they definitely do look like he's in college. And then Shia LaBeouf actually looks like he might be in high school, like a senior.
Yeah, he could definitely pass as a high schooler.
And Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf are the same age in that movie. They're both 20, and Shia LaBeouf looks significantly younger. It's
funny how much certain like beauty features can make someone look older.
True. Yeah, they weren't trying to make they could have found a guy who was 20 who looked older. You know, they could have found a Chris Pratt leading man, but they didn't find that.
No, they needed a weirdo because Sam is just a weirdo.
Yeah, he's not a nerd. Like, he's kind of geeky, but he's mostly just a weirdo, and I'm kind of here for it.
His family genealogy report, the assignment that he's supposed to do in class, where he's talking about his grandfather who, spoiler alert, discovers Megatron, but at this point he thought his grandpa was just a rambling old man. And so he's talking about like how all this stuff that he's showing for show and tell is also for sale. He's trying to sell that shit, which is why his teacher says he's gonna give him a B- for it. And he was like, the work was fine, the research was great, but you were hawking your grandfather's shit in my classroom. He was turning it into an auction, basically. Then then he gets to that point where he's like, he somehow manages to schmooze his teacher into talking him into upgrading his grade just so he could go buy a car.
Yeah.
He was like, you look out there, you see my dad? My dad gave him me a promise. If you bring me 2,000 and 2 A's or 3 A's, I'm gonna buy you a car. I got the 2,000, I got the 2 A's, and look at this year B-, dream gone, kaput. And then he just finishes it off with, just ask yourself, what would Jesus do? But the way he just awkwardly delivers that by like side-eyeing a little bit.
Yeah. And then he gets the A-. He gets the A-. He does it.
And he has to specify to his dad when he goes outside, it's an A-, but it's an A though.
They show up to the lot and he gets his car for the first time. And, you know, there's some antics along the way. We get to see the late Bernie Mac.
And also his dad punking on him by taking him to a Porsche dealership first.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun little bit. Drives him, oh, you're going to give me a Porsche? No, I'm not going to get you a Porsche.
You got to be kidding me. Yeah, I am.
I'm not gonna talk to you for the rest of this thing. He insists that a boy's first car should be a junker. And I think that stands true, though. No matter how well off we are one day, I don't know. My kid is not going to pull a Walt Jr. His ass is not getting a Challenger or anything of that nature.
Reminds me, at work today, me and my coworkers were ragging on one of our sweeps for buying a brand new WRX. And we're like, bro, you can't afford a fucking 2024 brand new WRX and you don't know how to drive a manual?
Well, okay, hold on. Off record, is it the guy I met?
Ubaldo?
Is that who bought it?
No, that was a different guy.
I met Jesse, or I don't know his name.
Yeah, you met Jesse. Ubaldo was the one whose friend owned the Challenger that they were like comparing dick sizes that one day, showing each other their cars.
Who bought the WRX?
The tall Mexican one who was hanging out with them.
Yeah, the guy who was trying to measure his dick as well by showing off his car.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, my friend has a Challenger. Yeah, now he has a WRX. He's trying to teach himself how to drive manual, but he doesn't. but he bought a brand new WRX, and we were all like, bro, if you're gonna learn manual, buy a clunker first, buy a used car. Don't go and just buy a brand new one because you're gonna destroy the clutch trying to learn.
Okay, so you were digging into it. So he goes and gets his car. It's a clunker, like we're talking about. We see Bernie Mac. He doesn't get the bug.
Yeah, which is a funny little nod to Bumblebee's history. Bumblebee was like Volkswagen Bug back in the day, and in the movie he's a 70s Chevy Camaro, at least at the start.
Was Kirby before or after this movie?
Herbie?
What did I say? Kirby?
Herbie.
I think because I remember hearing that he was like, no, he's never gonna be a bug, a Volkswagen. Michael Day. Yeah.
He was probably like, he already signed that deal with General Motors, and they're like, Bumblebee's not going to be a fucking bug in this movie.
It was, I forgot Bernie Mac was in this film. It was so cool to see that. I was like, he's like, bust your head open. Like, just that fucking funny scene. Like,
talking shit to his mom.
I'm like.
Talking shit to his mechanic.
Like, Bernie Mac was always really good in his films for having his comedy. I don't think there's a film where he wasn't.
He has that iconic line, like, what is it? The driver don't pick the car picked the driver. And then after Sam's dad said he's not going to pay for the Camaro, he is like, get out of the car. And he's like, you said cars pick their drivers. Well, sometimes they pick a driver with a cheap ass father. Get out of the
car. No, that's so perfect, though. That's hilarious. It's not till like a fast forward, though, where we actually see that car turn into Bumblebee. I'm skipping so much, though.
15 minutes later, I think, screen time wise.
Well, yeah, no, I'm skipping so much because it's like he gets that car and he's king of the world.
Yeah, not too much happens. He goes to that party with his friend Miles, meets Michaela, talks shit to the football player, which is absolutely hilarious. And then we learn a little bit of Megan Fox's character as he's driving her home because she got pissed off at her man and just decided to walk home. And Shia LaBeouf decides to be the smooth criminal he is. He was like, she lives 10 miles from here, Miles. It's my only chance. Get out of my car.
Yeah.
Just leaves his buddy stranded there at the party.
Okay, two things. Bert, we're just going to brush over that Sam got the car. No paperwork was properly filed.
Yeah, because Bumblebee wasn't even part of the lot.
Bumblebee wasn't part of the lot. And then also, Sam broke the bro code by hose before bros, which sounds a lot like
Under
Eric.
These circumstances?
No.
Under these circumstances?
You out of all people, Eric, you've broken it.
Well, that's why I'm backing this horse. This is why I'm backing the horse.
I mean, it's Megan Fox. I'm folding like a lawn chair, as they say.
Hey, man, all right, Pop Nasty, if you ever looked me in the eyes and you told me this is going to be the woman I'm going to marry, get out of my car, I would kiss you on the cheek.
Say that.
I'd kiss you on the
you
cheek.
Would not. You'd probably go banger, knowing you. They'd be like, she wasn't that good.
He does manage to swoop her up, though, and like they do start connecting. We got to give him that much. Whatever this cheesy little romance is that they put in there, they had to do it for the boys. This is back in the 2000s. This is when there was always a love interest. They always had to work it into some plot because they're like, this is what the people want.
I love how freaking Bumblebee is trying to wingman him the entire time by like playing the radio stations, intentionally breaking down on that overlook. And then we find out that Michaela is apparently like a little grease monkey. She knows cars. She pops Bumblebee's hood to see what the hell Sam's problem was. And then she's like giving a little backstory on herself, like, oh yeah, my dad taught me how to work on cars, blah, blah, blah. And the whole time Sam's just too busy checking her out to even listen to what the fuck she's saying. I love that part where he's like checking out like her belly and like the camera's like panning up her. And then like it goes to him like going in behind them. He's like,
yeah, he's mouthing just like,
God, he's like, oh my God.
We can't give him too much shit. He is an 11th grader, might I add you. We're watching two 11th graders just fucking
played by 20-year-olds.
Played by 20-year-olds, all right, but still, nonetheless.
But anyways, then he drives her home. It cuts to nighttime, so I guess they took the scenic route home. And yeah, I guess they were like just cruising. And then we get like the little self-deprecating humor when she was like, do you think I'm shallow? And he was like, no, I think there's more to meets the eye with you. And then after she leaves, he's just like, it's just a stupid line. More than meets the eye with you. It's just stupid.
Dude, I love every little Easter egg they do like that. Later, it's not too much of a spoiler, but later everyone keeps trying to figure out like what's up with these robots. Where did they come from? And Shia's like, Oh yeah, I think they're Japanese. And I was like, that's fun because Transformers originated in Japan, and I'm like, so funny.
Oh, that reminds me, John Cena's character in the Bumblebee movie has got to be the smartest character in any fucking Transformers media. I swear to God, because the Decepticons roll up on Earth and they say like, we are Decepticon peacekeepers from the planet Cybertron, and he's telling like his superiors like they call themselves Decepticons. Does that not sound sketchy to you guys at all? John Cena, right there, the smartest character in the entire fucking Transformers multiverse, right there. He was onto them from the start.
Quick comparison, though, if we go on a little tangent here, dude, Bumblebee versus Transformers, like, what a fun romp. It's like they got to see what Transformers did, and then they're like, okay, let's try to do it better. You know, they have that female lead and everything. Like, I don't know, Bumblebee, incredible movie, especially in comparison to Transformers. They both have their heydays. They're both good in their own way. But I just love that Transformers isn't dead yet because of the Bumblebee franchise.
But anyways, so then after all that happens, and like you said, the freaking Decepticon barricade rolls up and manages to track down Sam. He gets into a cool ass fight with Bumblebee, and then as they're we got like a cool fight scene that we didn't get to fucking see because it just cuts to Sam and Michaela fighting off Frenzy while Bumblebee and Barricade are fighting off screen. Then that's when they find out that he's an alien because he plays like all that radio messages about like space and angels and shit.
Barricade, he was the cop car?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty sick one. I got to admit, Decepticons look way cooler than Autobots.
I remember reading a thing. I used to have I think I remember reading this stuff online, but they said they intentionally went out of the way to make the Decepticons look more insect-like in their appearance, animal-like, whereas the Autobots were more humanoid to try and like sell like this alienness to them. And also the Decepticons primarily speak in Cybertronian.
Yeah, the only one that speaks English is Megatron.
And Barricade during that scene.
Oh, true.
Are you Ladies Man 217?
Yeah, that's a good little bit. I did love that. eBay was so prevalent in this movie.
That's how you know it's early 2000s, because eBay was relevant. Now everything's on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
And also I like how the like police badge on his side is replaced by the Decepticon insignia, and instead of to protect and serve, it says to punish and enslave.
Oh my god, they
don't even hide it. I remember reading the thing that people would always ask, why do like Autobots or Decepticons like wear their insignia even in their like transformed modes? And it's like a pride thing, basically. Like no matter what, they show their allegiance no matter what.
Fuck yeah, oorah, brother. That's valor right there.
Yeah.
Wait, so this is all going on with old Sam Witwicky and Michaela Baines, who, by the way, Michaela Baines is a pseudonym for Michael Bay, which I think is very weird.
The character insert.
The weird character insert. He didn't want to make himself the main character. He just wanted to be the character that got banged out by the main character. Anyways.
Speaking of banged up, you had eyes for a different character.
Are we missing out on any of the other... Because there's still the A and C plot. I don't know if they progress at all by the time all this happens. Or the B and C plot. The military, what the fuck are they doing right now? Still freaking out.
At this point, the military got saved because they figured out... they managed to get that phone call through when they were being attacked by Scorponok in the desert. They fight off Scorponok with the AC-130, find out Transformers are harmed by superheated rounds and shit that melts their armor. They're being taken home, and then we cut to freaking the analyst Maggie, who steals the signal and takes it to Anthony Anderson's house to decrypt it. And this dude is, I guess, the greatest hacker in the world because he manages to do what the DoD couldn't do in 5 minutes and decrypt an alien signal, and then his house gets swatted.
Yeah, his cousin was trying to play Dance Dance Revolution.
And that's how you know this is an early 2000s movie. People are playing Dance Dance Revolution.
Wait, I need a quick rundown. Scorponox, that's what his name was?
The Scorpion one, yeah.
What the fuck was that thing? Was it just what the hell was that? It was a Decepticon.
It's a Decepticon.
Was it a mini-bot? Or...
I remember reading into it. He basically has like a pseudo kind of like symbiotic relationship with Blackout. He's kind of like a partner / pet.
Oh, that's a little sussy, but all right. Interesting. Sussy Baka's over here, but all right.
Yeah, because he ejects him off his back, so he always carried him around up to that point.
Okay, so lack of a better term, he's like a mini-con.
Yeah.
The fact they didn't have Soundwave in this movie, instead they had Frenzy as like the stand-in.
Yeah. Well, like that goes into like the whole mass change stuff. Traditionally, Soundwave was a giant boombox speaker, but that shit doesn't translate well to live action, as cool as he is.
I know. I wonder what they could have done. They could have made him like a giant ass DJ speaker, like just huge.
In Revenge of the Fallen, he's a satellite.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I could get behind that.
In the sequel, he's just hanging out in orbit, listening to everything.
Bro, that's actually sick. All right. The coolest thing from Revenge of the Fallen.
He's the one basically coordinating all the Decepticon attacks and stuff in the second movie because he's listening to all the military transmissions, trying to figure out where the Allspark shard is hidden and all that, where they dumped Megatron's body.
Okay, that's pretty fucking sick. All right, so I feel like we're in Act 2 at this point.
Yeah. Sam meets the Autobots. The Autobots land on Earth. We get that iconic Autobot music piece playing as they're laying on Earth, find all their alternate forms and stuff. It's such a cool scene. And then we get like some exposition from Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, the legend. And he just relays like, we are Autobots. We are here to find the Allspark because Megatron is going to kill everyone.
Wait, you got to do that in your best Peter Cullen impression because I know you have one.
Nah, not right now.
Yeah, I know you have it. Come on. All right, hold on. Let's. My name is Optimus Prime. I can't do it. I know you can do it. I know you are. All right.
Samuel James Witwicky, descendant of Archibald Witwicky?
That's pretty good.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Yes. Okay. All right. You're doing a great job.
I kind of like how they also just like, I don't know if it was like canon in the original show, but like they try to make it sound like there's a reason why they're called Autobots. Like, we are autonomous robotic organisms from the planet Cybertron. And then Jazz is like, you can call us Autobots for short. Like, I don't know if that was always a thing or that was just something that came up for the movie to like fucking justify it.
Yo, Papa Nasty, did you have a favorite Autobot once they were introduced?
Probably just Optimus Prime.
Because of the flames, because of his leadership skills.
No, he's just like the most
truck.
like he's just like the most badass out of the fight scenes and stuff. And he had that fucking pocket sword.
Ironhide's pretty sick with his giant cannons. And he's like quoting Clint Eastwood, "You feeling lucky, punk?"
Bumblebee was sick. I don't know why they didn't give him a voice, but it was sick they didn't give him a voice. Whatever they did there.
I remember reading like it's kind of like a mythology gag in most continuities. He kind of has a motor mouth and just doesn't shut up.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It's probably just like a gag.
Yeah, I dig that gag.
And it probably makes him more endearing not talking.
All right, so digging into it a little bit more, we carry on our wayward sons. Autobots are introduced, and then they get swatted?
Sector 7 rolls up to Sam's house because they figured out that he's had contact with the aliens.
So this is when it starts to merge. The military and our
things are all coming together.
Starts to come together. And that guy was a character, the Sector 7 leader.
Agent Simmons.
Yeah, that guy, he had some jokes.
Yeah, he's funny. I'm carrying a loaded weapon, ma'am.
His parents freaking out. His parents were great, too. I remember you mentioned you actually really did like their chemistry.
Yeah, Ratchet causing a blackout in the neighborhood. And then...
just destroying the power lines for no reason.
Yeah, and then we get that little funny bit where Sam's parents like come knocking on his bedroom door, and then his mom's like, "Were you masturbating?"
Whoa.
Then both like... Suddenly, this goes from like the parents hounding Sam to Sam and his dad hounding his mom.
No, we'll just call it Sam's happy time.
Yes.
Yeah, or it's my special alone time.
I love how Michaela just stands up, like she was hiding in the corner, and she's like, "Hey, I'm Sam's friend."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at this point, she kind of saved his ass.
Yeah, the parents literally just stopped in their tracks. They're just like, "Oh my God, you're gorgeous." I think they fist bump.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, like you said, I did find that their chemistry was great. It's something that people don't really talk about, I feel, about this movie. They just bounce off each other so well, like a actual long-term married couple or something.
Yeah, they could sit there and like roast anybody if they wanted to, just by bouncing off each other.
Yeah, so they deduce that Sam's had contact with the aliens, and they detain everybody. Yeah, Simmons shows him that they have his 911 call about Bumblebee, and then he's trying to play it off, like, oh, so they got the receipts. They found out. They pretty much know everything at this point.
Turns out Sam Witwicky is radioactive from spending time with Bumblebee, and so they fucking tag him and bag him and tag him.
Yep, there was that part where you were mentioning how when Michaela's trying to sass him, and then he like references her age by saying, "You in the training bra, do not test me."
Yeah. So he like starts off by degrading her, and you're like, all right, finally somebody's acknowledging that this 20-year-old woman is playing a 16-year-old in this movie. Heck yeah, there we go. And then not even 2 sentences later,
she's got her own criminal record to prove it. She's a criminal. Criminals are hot.
and I was like, way to go, way to be a pervert.
Yeah, in that scene too, he looks at her up and down, very like uncomfortable.
Suggestively.
Yeah, I was like, oh come on, man, like you're fucking 40, like.
He's probably gonna detain her for interrogation. Probably.
I'm
I'm
just saying, Harvey Weinstein has not been arrested yet, so I don't know what's going on in Hollywood. But
one thing we didn't address though is Sam's family's fucking rich, or they have a really nice house. But when the whole shenanigans were going around the house, I was like, holy shit, their house is nice. The back.
Yeah, and his dad's car.
keep in mind, this is pre-2008 recession, so
Depends on what his line of work is.
exactly. He's a mafia boss. Who knows?
I think Kevin Dunn played like a doomsdayer in Ghostbusters for like one scene. He was on like a
fucking
talk
funny.
show.
All right, whose dad is doing better? Sam Witwicky's dad or Kevin's dad from Home Alone?
Probably Sam's.
I think Sam's.
I don't know. Kevin's dad had but I mean, you think about the era too, but still, Kevin's dad had a fucking mansion.
Yeah, but Kevin's dad also has 8 kids.
True. Truth be. Oh yeah, just like who's doing better financially / emotionally?
They have so many kids that they made it to the airport before they realized they were missing one.
True. Goddamn. All right, so they get arrested.
Yeah, and then Bumblebee gets captured because he tries to save Sam and Michaela from falling off Optimus and getting splatted. And they capture Bumblebee and start torturing him.
Was this when? Okay, so they escape for just a minute, right? Don't they? They escape for just a minute.
Yeah, because the Autobots showed up, but then it turns out that one of the agents had his phone on speaker the whole time, so the cavalry was coming.
Yep.
Choppers, the whole 9 yards.
So they flew those choppers underneath a bridge in Los Angeles, like super close to the ground. It was insane. They had to get clearance and everything to pull this off, because that was the one thing Michael Bay does really well. Like, as this movie progresses, you just see these huge action scenes, and they're not just like people performing actions. He has like an orchestra of vehicles. He is making a disaster movie where there are freaking explosions. There are things falling. Like, it's insane what this man does pull off, you have to admit, with enough resources and cocaine.
It's kind of like that scene in The Dark Knight where people thought the CGI was shitty for the semi-truck flipping. Like, no, Christopher Nolan just really flipped a fucking semi-truck.
Yeah. You can watch B footage of them just going through the town without the CGI Decepticons and Autobots.
Yeah.
And so you just see cars just getting flung. Like, they have them on like levers or some shit and just throw a car, explosion happens.
I saw this one clip of, they showed like before and after CGI, and it was the scene where Bumblebee pisses on Agent Simmons, and Michael Bay's the one who throws that little cork thing at the back of Simmons' head, and then they have a guy right next to Michael Bay just turn on a hose.
That's so awesome. That's fucked up.
Yeah, and then like Michael Bay and the hose guy are just completely covered up by CGI. Instead, Bumblebee's standing right there.
Bumblebee, stop lubricating the mat.
Yeah, Bumblebee just give a guy a golden shower, and it's pretty casual.
I wish I was him.
Bumblebee's low-key an asshole.
Oh, I want to be the guy. You want to be the little alien shower, buddy? You haven't read my fan fiction? Come on.
He's just being lubricated in gasoline.
Send me the links after this pod.
Patreon special.
Yes.
I'll read them aloud.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, then during all that chaos, Sam drops his grandfather's glasses, so that's ultimately going to be how the Autobots find the location of the Allspark later. But then on top of that, the Decepticons will also find that stuff out because Frenzy transformed into Michaela's phone and hitched a ride in her bag.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So they go from being arrested to actually like having leverage at one point. It pretty much, isn't that how that goes?
Sam basically pulls the "you want to know what I know, so if anything, I'm the one who should be negotiating shit here. So you know what? How about we erase my friend's record, you give me my friend Bumblebee back, and maybe then I'll consider telling you what you want to know."
Can we also address that Frenzy is carrying the Decepticons right now? He hacks the system and violates it. He eventually releases Megatron, but he's like carrying the squad for Decepticons compared to the other guys.
I just put this together in my head right now, but it's probably because in traditionally Frenzy is one of Soundwave's minicons, and Soundwave is historically one of Megatron's most competent soldiers. So Frenzy's competence is probably just because he works for Soundwave.
Right now, I want to rewatch one of those scenes that has Frenzy in it, because you did point out to me how weirdly erotic it was when Frenzy was just dropping a virus into the network.
Like, and then he's like, "There's a virus released." Like, wait a minute, why is he doing that after the virus is released or before the virus?
She points out that while he's uploading a virus, he is also at the same time stealing a shitload of data. Dude is like fucking their system.
Literally, like that's what he's pointing out too. It's like the way he's going about is weird.
I love how once he escapes and gets inside Barricade's cop car, he gives them the fucking finger.
He's such an asshole. That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely see his no, I see what you're saying. I'm rewatching the scene. He's got an O face and everything right now. It's very weird. All right, anyways, that thing had to be puppeteered. I don't think that was just strictly CGI. That thing that had to be puppeteered a little bit.
Oh yeah, they definitely had a stand-in puppet for Frenzy in some places.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, you know the part where the flight attendant was getting ding-dongs for Mr. Bush, and then one falls to the ground and rolls over, and he like tucks his foot inside. That was a puppet because he's hiding in there. Yeah,
I like how the impersonation for him is so easy. It's "Hey there, sweetheart, can I just get a..." Nah, it's really bad Bush impersonation. Can I just get some ding-dongs, darling? You're just like, oh, that is really good. That's not bad.
No shoes on.
Yeah, no shit, just kicking back, just relaxing, like, fuck.
Hiding his face.
Not to get political, but I'm like, fuck, that's Bush right there. God damn it. That's good.
I could have sworn, I think it's probably just like a rule or something. They can't like depict the president in film or something like that, so that they just usually hide their face or have a stand-in fictional president.
I dig that. Okay. Yeah, because they can't be too blatant.
No, I think they had a reference to Obama. In the second one, they like clearly showed, no, the third one. They clearly showed, it was like Obama's picture and all that, but he wasn't in the film.
Yeah, in the second one, he was mentioned as like raising the DEFCON level or something like that because of the Decepticon invasion or whatever, but it was just like a offhand mention on the news broadcast.
Damn. Okay.
Okay.
So like you were saying though, so Frenzy literally fucks their system while Shia is, he has his leverage, and this is when they find out that Megatron exists.
That Megatron is being held in the dam and that his grandfather wasn't an insane man, his great-great-grandfather.
I want to dig into this really quick because he's being held in the Hoover Dam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything filmed in this movie was filmed in the USA. It was really important to Michael Bay so that way he could work with his team and not have to work with a foreign team. Mm-hmm. And he took a 30% pay cut for this. So they film in Los Angeles, if I'm not incorrect. They would take certain streets, they would block them off, they would go to film. They actually did film at the Hoover Dam. Everything you saw in this movie, like in terms of where Megatron was stored, that was actually at the dam. They went underneath and there was these huge storage areas that aren't being used anymore, and they built a set there. And then the final place that they did was the places where they're in, they're in the sand and it's not in the USA. It is in the USA, and it's actually in New Mexico. There's a place there that is a huge desert. But going back to the Hoover Dam real quick, I guess Shia LeBouf said that it was so amazing what they were doing there that when he wasn't working, he would actually sneak back on the set to show his friends, like, oh, look how cool the Megatron is. And I don't know. I always thought that was pretty interesting. It was a giant set.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I actually never thought about that. I was like, there's no way they built this huge ass set. This had to be filmed on location.
Right? Yeah, they fucking boom, they built the shit. Yeah, that was insane to me. But yeah, all under the Hoover Dam, legitimately, and in the movie as well.
Yeah, so they have an in-universe reason for why Hoover Dam was built. It was to hide the Allspark and create a storage space for Megatron down the road. Because basically the government was like, well, aliens exist and we gotta hide this from any that might come looking for them.
How does Megatron get activated?
Fucking Frenzy.
Frenzy turns off the cryogenic system that's keeping him frozen.
Yeah, again, Frenzy comes through. Piece of shit.
Dude, he really is the GOAT. He's carrying him on his back.
He's carrying the Decepticons.
And also, I like that he basically got his body back because the Allspark basically willed it to him. He finds the Allspark and it gives him his body back.
Frenzy?
Yeah. because at that point, he was just a disembodied head.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even remember that part.
The
That's awesome.
Allspark rebuilds him, and that's when he contacts the Decepticons, telling them that he found the Allspark.
Cool. And then I think Act 3 begins. This is when all the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, you get that montage of all the Decepticons waking up and heading to Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
And you see it. There's like 7 of them. There was Starscream, Blackout, Barricade, Bone Crusher, and Brawl. Okay,
do you
5
remember
of them.
do you remember what forms they took?
Starscream is an F-22 Raptor jet. Brawl is a heavily modified M1 Abrams tank. Bone Crusher is a modified Minesweeper. Barricade's a Mustang police car. Blackout is an MH-53 Pavlo helicopter.
God damn, Abel. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's the lore boy, first of all.
I used to have a companion book for the movie. That's how I know this.
This team of military vehicles is against the GMC promotional ad. Like, what the fuck is going on?
So one thing I also wanted to add, I remember there was like people always like thought it was weird that the first thing Megatron does when he wakes up from his cryogenic sleep is he just calls out, "I am Megatron," before it starts slaughtering everyone in the room. And then I remember someone's headcanon was, after decades of being called NB1, he was probably just so pissed off that people would not call him by his name. So the first thing he does as soon as he wakes up is reiterate who he is.
Do you think he heard that? You think he heard that? Them calling him that?
People in comas supposedly could hear people talking to him. He was probably in a low power state, not dead.
I dig the headcanon. I definitely appreciate that sentiment. So he shows up, he wakes the fuck up, he just starts murking everybody right then and there.
Oh yeah, and Starscream showed up and was attacking their power station, the nearby one. He was the first one to show up because he's a jet. He's the fastest out of all the Decepticons. Of course, he's the first one to show up.
They get out alive, and then they have the Allspark in hand at this point.
Yeah, Agent Simmons decided to give Bumblebee back to Sam after Sam says, like, "You gotta give me my car. He's gonna know what to do with the cube. We gotta get it out of here. The Decepticons are coming." And so Bumblebee shrinks it down into like a little kind of like, 1 foot by 1 foot cube, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was one thing we did brush over. Why is it the cube had made what's his face's cell phone into a little Decepticon? And I was telling Eric, I'm like, why would? Because later on we see that the cube turns any other like machines into, they're turning sentient, but they're all turning into Decepticons and just fucking things up.
I think it's because they're feral.
Motherfucker, he said the same thing.
Word for word. That's hilarious. Me and you both, Abel.
But what I thought was interesting also, it's like, okay, first, how the fuck did that thing produce a gun in less than like 10 seconds? And I was like, that scene was just kind of like, it's automatically malicious. It's shooting bullets. The little minigun is right where his wiener would be. It was just like kind of a weird, I'm like, okay, if it would have been like 5-10 minutes.
You're questioning the nature of the Allspark, not necessarily the nature of the bots.
No, I'm going to question
both. Because the
both.
Allspark has the algorithm that makes them automatically war-mongering robots.
Yeah, but it was like, okay, how did it make a gun in less than 10 seconds? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, the biggest thing...
Yeah.
If we're going based off, no, I just want to piggyback on your idea. If we really want to go into what the fuck, how does this make sense? First of all, this is a movie based on toys. We don't talk about it. But
and second, it's a Michael Bay film.
But even in the production, Michael Bay's like, hey, we got to really we don't want to, what is it called? Mass displacement or something of that
mass
nature?
Displacement, where they just like transform from something that's much smaller than they are or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like most of the time, hey, I'm a big old truck, I can turn into a big old bot. The biggest thing is, where the fuck do the bullets come from?
Yeah, how the fuck are they?
I always wondered that playing the video games.
Okay, we're getting in too deep, we're ruining this for somebody.
To me, it made more sense when they use like non-conventional weapons like a pulse cannon or a null ray or something like that.
That makes sense. Well, Papa Nasty was saying, well, why doesn't Frenzy just have like Freddy Krueger claws? And he's like, maybe that'd be a little fucked up.
Yeah, I'm like, that'd be a little dark, but I'm like, they showed that earlier.
Just
going
around just assassinating people.
That would make more sense than him just like it was just one of those things. I'm like, okay, where is he getting that from? But the same thing with the little Blackberry that they end up turning into a little Decepticon. I was like, okay, like, where the fuck is he producing those bullets?
Yeah, and this, my friend, is what we like to call suspended disbelief. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason why this is a work of fiction, and because it makes no fucking sense. And we're lucky that Steven Spielberg had a touch, like had his hands on this at the beginning, because he was like, all right, you know, we're gonna find a way to make this somewhat realistic. Later down the line, they just say, fuck it, let's just do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought it was a pretty iconic scene when they're all like speeding down the highway trying to get to the nearest city so they can try and hide the cube, while Simmons and the hackers and everyone stayed behind at Hoover Dam to try and contact the military. And then you get Bone Crusher transforming on the highway, destroying cars, and he's just fucking roller skating down the highway. I always thought that looked raw as fuck.
That's fucking sick. Yeah, but this is when you start to see plenty of the transformations and everybody. And is this when the war officially begins, like in downtown Los Angeles?
Yeah, the war started pretty much on the way there. Bone Crusher tried to attack Optimus, and Optimus just threw his ass to the ground and said, "Sit down, bitch."
Is this when you get a frame of the? Is this when you get the clip of the guy who's like running and he's like, "This is cooler than Armageddon"?
No, that was when the Autobots arrived. That was way earlier.
Oh, was it? Well, we couldn't miss that part because that part was important.
Yeah, just Michael Bay just trying to be humble by talking shit about his own movie.
Yeah. But then by the end of this movie, which is what's going on right now, it turns into a full Michael Bay film.
Yeah, it turns into a war zone in they call it Mission City. I guess it's a fictional city for the movie.
That's sick.
Yeah, they get to the city, and that's where like the whole robots in disguise thing kind of comes to bite the military in the ass, because Starscream's just flying around and they're trying to contact him thinking he's backup, and the Autobots are quick to wise up and like, this shit ain't adding up. It's a Decepticon.
Being deceptive.
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny that Starscream just like laid an airstrike on them, blew off Bumblebee's legs, and then Lennox was asking Epps what the hell was that, and he was all like, F-22s never fly below buildings. That's alien. That ain't friendly.
Fuck yeah.
I kind of wish it would be more of an issue in later movies that, like, Decepticons would hide among the military's ranks to sabotage their attacks or whatever.
That would have been thoughtful, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, that was pretty much the only time it ever happened.
This is one of those moments where they really needed, like, Michael Bay as the director, but they needed a really strong writer who also had a strong voice when they were filming. But, you know, within our lifetime, I feel like there is a really good chance that we get some bangers. Bumblebee, you know, looking good now, but I feel like there will come the day, my friends, when Transformers 2037 is just fucking everything we want it to be.
Yeah, we'll probably get that G.I. Joe crossover.
Okay, so the war officially starts. Bumblebee loses his legs. Michaela props him up on a tow truck and just starts getting crazy with it.
Yeah, helping him out, kicking ass.
But while Shia LaBeouf is running before his
We're all
goddamn
getting
life.
3v1'd by the Autobots. Kind of trying to hammer in how, like, it takes the Autobots literally, like, all their teamwork just to take out one Decepticon.
Yeah. Well, I think, who mentioned it? Was it Papa Nasty? Did you mention that the Decepticons are fucking huge and the Autobots are...
Yeah, if you look back, all the Decepticons are bigger than Optimus Prime, or as big, whereas the Autobots are all smaller than Optimus Prime.
Specifically, 3 Decepticons are bigger than Optimus: Starscream, Blackout, and Megatron.
Wasn't Blackout, equal to the same size as him?
Blackout is the second biggest one in the movie. He's 33 feet tall. Megatron is 35 feet tall. Starscream is 31, and Optimus Prime is 28 feet tall.
Okay.
Dude, the lore flex. The lore flex.
Put that
Our
big
boy.
old dick away, Abel.
Put you on the floor with the lore, baby.
Jazz is 15 feet tall. He is literally less than half the size of Megatron. Bumblebee is 16 feet tall, and I think Ironhide and Ratchet are like roughly 20 feet tall.
Damn. Wait, hold up. Did Megatron have a transformation in this movie?
He turns into a Cybertronian jet. He refuses to take an Earth form.
What? Okay, I gotta look up a Cybertronian jet real quick.
Yeah, Jazz tries to pick a fight with him, and Megatron it literally just rips him in half. And I was like, bro, that was raw as fuck.
That was raw as fuck.
And also that size discrepancy, like when he picks up Jazz and rips him in half, like he's so tiny in his hands.
What was Jazz at the time in terms of vehicle?
A Pontiac Solstice.
Yeah, compared to the war jet that this guy was. Yeah. Wow. Okay, anyways, I was looking at pictures right now. Holy shit, that's cool. So yeah, the war is still going. Old Sam Witwicky does the smart thing and climbs to the top of a building. I forget how he gets there.
Yeah, he was climbing through an abandoned building because the military sent a chopper to try and pick up the cube and run off with it, but Megatron caught up to him.
I forgot they did. They had a car. They had one right there. But then you get Sam. Whoa, watch out! And then,
well, that's because Starscream landed a building away and fired a rocket at the helicopter.
And fucking takes them out. Those poor guys. And then you have Sam doing the dumbest thing ever. He tries to hide from Megatron on like behind a statue on the edge of a building when Megatron knew he was there the whole time. I just thought it was...
He wasn't trying to hide. He was just trying to get as far away from him as he could. But he understandably knew he had nowhere to go.
He said one of the creepiest lines I've heard in a while. Is like, "Come here, flesh bag." He's like, "I'll make you my pet when this is over." You're like, "Oh, man, flesh bag? What the fuck, dude?"
Whoa, that's a new one. I'm gonna use that in the bedroom. You be careful.
Also, I love, we get to see Megatron and, like, right up to that point, we get to see Megatron and Optimus finally square up for the first time in the movie, and Megatron's just beating the shit out of him, really.
Yeah, dude, poor Pessimist Prime over there, Jesus.
He kind of alludes to it in the second movie, but basically, Optimus doesn't go all out in cities because he's afraid of, like secondary damage to everything around him. Kind of like Superman. He's not going to go all out because he's afraid people are going to get hurt. So he's holding back. He's holding back against Megatron, but he's still trying to put up a fight.
In a sequel movie, doesn't he get jumped in the woods or something?
Yeah, he gets jumped by Starscream, Grindor, and Megatron all at the same time. But since they're on the forest,
he does pretty fucking good.
Yeah, since they're in the forest, Optimus stops going easy on him. And he quickly goes to town on them. He kills Grindor, disarms Starscream literally, and almost kills Megatron.
I think it's important we mention that early on in the movie too, when they find out about the Allspark, Optimus tells them, "There might be a time when you have to put the Allspark in my chest and destroy it, and I'll sacrifice myself." God, I just can't do it. But he does. He says, "I'm gonna have to sacrifice myself," and it gets to that point in the movie where Optimus says, "Do it, put it in my chest."
But instead, Sam puts it in Megatron's, killing Megatron.
Dun dun dun! What a great little.
It was a good scene because like if Sam would have put it in Optimus, either way, Earth is fucked. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he never considered a possibility that, like, just putting it in Megatron's chest.
How would they even be in that situation? But Sam,
yeah.
Despite all of his stuttering and mumbling and
the dumb shit he says and does, he actually saves the day. He fucking thinks with his fucking brain. But no, that was like a scene. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I mean, like, that would be the best option for Sam to kill Megatron with it. Like, because if he kills Optimus, they're all fucked. And then, yeah, it's like, either way, fucking Earth is going to become a slave to them, or the planet's going to get fucked over. But if he kills Megatron, the Earth is fine.
Takes him the fuck out. Absolutely beautiful.
They managed to kill majority of the Decepticons in the movie. At the end of the movie, the only Decepticons unaccounted for are Starscream, Barricade, and supposedly Bone Crusher, according to his toy box.
But then you never see him again.
He pops up in a background during the battle in Egypt in the second one.
Oh, okay. So he's still alive. I was like, did he just go on, start a life
Even
somewhere?
Fucking Optimus cut his head off. But apparently he pulls himself together, literally. Barricade just disappears from the movie during the highway scene.
What a jackass. He knew. He's like, I'm a fucking police car. I'm not gonna do anything.
He shows back up in the third movie and in the fifth one.
Where have you been this whole time, you douchebag? I started a bakery.
When Barricade returns in the fifth movie, he's voiced by the same guy, but people thought it was a different guy because he sounds so different because he's not yelling every sentence this time.
I started a small bakery. I found peace. I didn't have to scream anymore.
And so that's the end of Transformers. We get that little ending montage with Optimus narrating, and then Linkin Park starts playing.
Whoa. Pump the brakes. We're backing it right up. Beep, 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 beep. All right. First of all, Abel, you pull up the quote, or I'm going to do it horribly. And you got to do this word for word. You probably don't even need it in front of you. But before we do that, we do have to point out this. I think they're back at that scenic spot, or at least a scenic spot.
I think it's the exact same spot because of the tree.
Yeah. So we got brand new souped up Bumblebee, because something we didn't talk about earlier was Michaela dissed him, and so
Or
he went
turning
and
into
scanned.
a POS 70s model Camaro. And he goes and turns into what was apparently like a freaking special edition promo model because it wasn't even a thing yet. I looked it up after the last session. Camaros weren't being sold in pretty much during the early 2000s, and Bumblebee's new model in the movie was basically a giant ad for the new Camaro models they were dropping in 2010.
That's fucking awesome. So he becomes this beautiful car. We've discussed he's sentient. At the end of the movie, he says, "I want to stay with the boy." He gets a chance to talk. So it's like, okay, he learns how to talk. At the end of the movie, Sam and Michaela get together. Ooh, wow, so cute. Two little 16-year-olds getting together. But they're making out on the top of Bumblebee. All right. He's the ultimate wingman. Whatever. I guess he's kind of cool with it. And then it zooms out. And then you have two cars just kind of sitting in the background watching.
Ironhide and Ratchet.
And then you're kind of like, okay, that's a little bit weirder, but they're in car mode. Maybe it doesn't work that way.
And then Optimus is having his little speech looking off into the sunset.
And then Optimus is like, what? Like kind of like nodding, like, yeah, you fucking get it. And then he like does his speech. But I'm like, why is this group of Autobots just like watching them right? Anyways, that was a weird one for me, but I thought that was pretty funny. But then Optimus delivers the most heartfelt speech, the speech that when you hear it when you're a 7th grader keeps you up at night because it just resonates into your soul. And Abel knows it.
Oh my god. I don't have this one memorized as well.
You don't have to pull it up or I'm going to do it and we're going to hate it.
So it starts off this way. So they got What I've Done start playing most of the instrumental intro. And he goes, with the old spark gone, we cannot return life to our planet. I feel like he says something else in here, but I can't remember what it was. And then he says, and fate has yielded its reward, a new planet to call home. And then, they are a young species, they have much to learn, but like us, there's more to them than meets the eye. I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any Autobots taking refuge among the stars. We are here. We are waiting. What I've done. Credits
fucking
roll.
Beautiful. and then like not even a couple years ago, they took that song and they made a bunch of
last year.
It was last year, and it was if this movie was made in 2007.
Next movie if it was in 2007.
It's fucking hilarious. Absolutely.
I
beautiful.
also gotta mention that Transformers had a post-credit scene.
2 post-credit scenes, yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the ending scene that wasn't post-credit, but then there was a post-credit scene.
Yeah, the post-credit scene is Starscream flying off into space, revealing he survived.
And Sam and Sam's parents like, what do you mean? There's no aliens. If there's aliens, they tell us. What do you mean?
They've gone full like we're disavowing any supposed knowledge of our involvement with the aliens.
Nice, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because now they're under government protection, but they got to keep their mouth shut.
It was the worst early post-credit scenes, but it was still interesting.
Hey, but they did it. It was a thing that keeps you around for just a little bit longer to watch the movie.
Yeah, back in the day, post-credit scenes were usually just like little gags or whatever, like not teasers for the next movie.
Don't get me started on the Rush Hour outtakes. Fuck
Oh,
yeah,
those are hilarious.
amazing.
Or the Pirates of the Caribbean post-credit scenes.
Were those outtakes
Wait,
too?
what?
No, Pirates of the Caribbean had post-credit scenes.
What? I did not know this.
Curse of the Black Pearl, the post-credit scene is the monkey Jack making his way back to the chest and stealing a coin, which is why he's a zombie monkey in the rest of the trilogy.
Cool.
Oh, I don't remember that. What the fuck?
Zombie monkey baby.
We just rewatched that too.
That's a metal band, bro. We need to make a metal band, a death metal band. Zombie monkey.
Yeah, then in Dead Man's Chest, the post-credit scene is we're back on the island of cannibals, and they found like a new god to worship, and the camera pans to the throne, and it's the dog with the keys.
Oh yeah, they're chasing him. Yeah, I remember that one.
I forgot about that. I like those little gags. Okay, hold up. Before we get too deep in this, guys.
I'm trying to remember what the one for At World's End was.
Hold up. Before we get too deep in this was Abel's pick, and so Papa Nasty, do you vouch for him?
Yes, I do.
I still vouch for you to this day. Transformers 2007, interesting movie. It still holds up. I think it's a little slow to start, but once you get into the action of it, it is very fun if you truly admire.
I like the first act.
It's good.
I don't think it was that
What the
slow.
fuck are you talking, Meyer? You're smoking crack.
Well, hey, this is an opinionated podcast where we don't always agree. And so, do you kill, rewatch, or marry this, Abel?
I rewatch it. I own the fucking DVD.
Well, you married it.
What do you got?
I think.
What do you got, Papa Nasty?
I'd rewatch it.
I'd rewatch it. I wouldn't kill it. I wouldn't marry it, but I'd rewatch it. It's a good one.
I remember what the post-credits scene for At World's End was. It was Will returning 7 years later to visit Elizabeth, and they have a kid.
Yeah, they're like making love and all that stuff, and
before he left. And he comes back and his kid's like 7 years old.
But then she can't bang him on his boat. Like they can only bang on the island. That was kind of a funny scene. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
that's how it goes, my guy.
David Jones.
Hold up. So first of all, Papa Nasty, your recording did good, right? It hasn't failed.
Oh, yeah, it's going good. No, I'm fucking around. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, thank God. I was about to piss myself. All right, well, guys, that was our vouchers. That was our episode on Transformers. As it stands, I think this is our first episode. We've actually recorded a couple episodes before this, but we're going to be redoing them, and we're going to be introducing a few new movies. This was Abel's pick, and so this round, how we play the game is we each pick one, and then we delve into it a little bit. And so, Papa Nasty, I think you picked your movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, we talked about Ricky Stenicki.
Well, of course we did. It was Ricky Stenicki, exactly.
Yeah, fucking drunk.
If you guys have seen the Bad Friends podcast, absolutely love them. But Andrew Santino, John Cena, Slantino? Nah, whatever.
No.
And the guy from the thing, John Cena and Zac Efron. They're in a really great movie that I can't wait for fucking Abel to experience for the first time. I almost want to watch it when I go down with you guys, so that way.
I was gonna say Zac Efron. I saw him in the Iron Claw, bro. That movie emotionally destroyed me.
Oh,
I want to watch that movie. When did you watch it? Did you watch it in theaters?
I watched it in theaters last December.
What? It was good, huh?
Oh yeah, it was fire, bro. I wanted to cry like 3 times.
Oh man.
Okay, I need to watch it then. I just re-upped my knowledge on it, and now it's like I do gotta dig back in.
Yeah, one of the greatest Academy robberies of all time. He wasn't even nominated for that shit. Like, because I guess not enough people at the Academy saw it. Like, bro, he was a shoo-in for Best Actor.
Boo. A24 getting slept on. I don't respect it. I'm not going to traumatize you guys with another horror movie quite yet, but I think
you could traumatize us with the Iron Claw.
Yeah,
in a different way.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'll hold on to it. That is in my back pocket, but I think I have to go with -1 while we finally got the wheels greased. Yeah, dude, Godzilla -1 because Papa Nasty, did you see it?
No, I haven't.
Good. Oh my fucking God. I can't wait. I want you to watch it. I want to be there with you. I want to cry and hold each other while we watch it.
Okay, first off, I don't cry. Secondly,
liar. Dude, I cried 3 times watching this movie.
You cried during the Barbie film, and I rewatched
Watch the Iron Claw, and then we'll see if you cry again.
Okay, I might cry on that one. But because I know some of it. But like the Barbie, he's like, I cried, and I was like watching, I'm like, this is fucking dumb. I don't know why you cried for Barbie.
Well, it's because I respect women, so...
You respect women. Don't even fucking start it, Eric. I was like, want to go down the list? You son of a bitch.
Yeah, so fucked up. No, I just cry. Every time Margot Robbie cried, she's such a good actress that whenever she cried, I cried.
Oh, I know why you cried. I know why you cried with Margot Robbie. Don't even.
Yeah, I was like, you're still wearing clothes.
You reminded me of something. Did you ever see Barbarella?
Oh, I know it exists. It was on Netflix forever, right?
It was like that one super old movie with the. It was just almost basically like a softcore porno, basically. It was just a weird space movie.
She's going around, yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So apparently they're remaking that movie with Sydney Sweeney.
Brother.
I was like, brother, I will be first in line for that movie.
Brother.
Catch me in line.
Dude,
with the Dune popcorn bucket.
Catch me with the Dune bucket, right?
The theater worker looking at me when I asked for the Dune popcorn bucket with extra butter, hold the popcorn.
The nod of approval when he understands what movie you're going to.
I saw this one TikTok.
I am.
Have you seen she was in that one rom-com Anyone But You, right?
I think she No, she didn't direct it, but she produced it.
No, that was Immaculate, the horror movie, I think. But she was in a rom-com last winter.
Anything But You, but I think she had Anyone But You, but I think she was the influence for that being made. So whatever that is, I don't know if it's producer or...
I think that was for Immaculate.
Okay, fair. Well, either which way, now I want to look into Immaculate. I don't know if it's any good, but you were going to make a point about this movie.
But anyway, so for Anyone But You, apparently, since she's from Spokane, she went down and just like did a surprise meet and greet with fans at like some theaters in Spokane when it was showing there.
She's from Spokane?
Yeah.
Wow, she really is one of ours. Oh yeah, okay, so starring Sydney, produced by... There was something I had seen her talk about this movie, and this movie was so important to her that she wanted to get it made, but I didn't know that she was a heavy influence for the horror movie. Tell me the name of that horror movie again.
I thought it was Immaculate.
Ooh, okay, that one's got me absolutely curious now.
Oh, you little curious bee.
Hey guys, thank you so much for stopping by for the pod today. We're going to have more stuff coming in the future, and we love you so much. We just want to give you a little kiss on the forehead. Get over here.
That's all, folks.
All right, guys, bye.
Bye.